getting set up here. So I have the assignment here pulled up. We ended last time on function number 2 with making the lists of the pairs of wine. Pull up my dictionaries. Okay. So right now we have lists of dictionaries. Okay. So my next goal is to add, or is to compare the years here. So is it 2017? I have the lists. So if wine is equal to string. So we ended with list 1 and list 2 are going to have the same amount because it adds the pairs. So if there's a pair of Chardonnays, it's going to add Chardonnay to the list. So if wine is equal to string, append wine, append string. So not only is there going to be the same number of wines, but the lists are going to be in order according to the wine. So for our next set of basically for loops, as I like to use for loops and if statements. So for we're looking at for I in list 1, list D1. If list D1 I and so I in list D1 would be a dictionary. So if this dictionary now I cannot use items, so I cannot say for items in dictionary for this assignment, but I can use value and keys. So I can say for X in D1 dot values. So that works. So I'm going to check up on YouTube here for a second. Did not mean to close this out. Pull my assignment back up. Just want to make sure this is all okay, good. This is all going nicely. I thought my actually previous video didn't upload correctly. So it's going very slowly, very slowly. We need to check these keys basically. So we need to compare keys. So for each dictionary, we need to compare the keys and then add them if they're the same. So let's see. For I in list 1, if K, I will say if you're in uh, in I dot items, or I guess not items, I dot keys equals for n in list D2. So if we iterate through our first list, so we're at our first dictionary. This is I. Now that we're at I for n, it's saying, okay, so for each of these, does the year match? So that's gonna actually test both of these against a single dictionary. So we don't want to do that. So we'll do for I in list D1, just a single for loop. And then for year in I.keys, so now we're saying for each dictionary, for each of these years in D1, if list D1 I or for I and for year. So for each dictionary, for each year in the dictionary, if that year, so if year is equal to um, so to express this, so if year, this would be I, this would be I, and then the key. So I year. So for year in I dot keys, if year equals I year, I'm going to do D2 list D2. I, because I is the index value. So if this year is equal to that same index value, so this index value in list 2, so list D2 and then year. So that should be correct. So let's go through the each step here. So first it looks at this dictionary for I in list D1. This is I in list D1. Now, so for each of these, for year in I dot keys, so I dot keys is these. So for year, so for each of these years, if year, so if 2017 is equal to list D2, which is our, so list D2 I, and then year. So this reference, I'm gonna go ahead and double check with a quick example, which I can do here. So let's make this new dictionary. We'll say it's a list. So we'll say list D2. List D2 equals, these aren't the actual values, but it'll just be an example, equals 2 dictionaries. Let's say there's 2 dictionaries, and that'll keep it a little consistent here, because this is 2 dictionaries, yeah. So 2 dictionaries with, this is 1999, 20, and then this is 2009, 23. So here is our list. Yeah. So now let's print list 0 1999. Oh, list D2. So print It's D2, 0, 1999. Okay, 20. So that'll output. I just wanted to make sure that we could reference a dictionary within a list using this iterable I have not done before. So that's a little new for me. Well, still practicing this. But yeah, that works. So what do we want to do if it matches? So this year, I'm saying for each of these years, so does it match this? Yes, it does. So if it does, then we're going to make this value at our new dictionary. So new dictionary so where we left off with the new dictionary is we have a list of these names. So it would have Chardonnay, and then Pinot Noir, and then Merlot, and then that would be it. So it would be in the same order. But maybe it would be, so say this was a Chardonnay, and then Pinot Noir, and this was Pinot Noir, and let's like if we like inserted rosé to question the order of the wines in this dictionary. So Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Merlot. If we insert a rosé, let's say, into the second dictionary, then the order would be Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Merlot, rosé. If it was in this first, so I don't think it should matter as far as like the order, because this is just saying if the wine is so for wine in D1, if it does not equal wine in D2, so if it's unique, then new D string. So for wine in D1, see, this is the problem with doing this in multiple sessions. For wine in our first dictionary, new dictionary, it adds this wine. Okay, so it will be this list in this order. And then for each wine in that order, for string in D2, if string does not equal wine, then add it to the dictionary. So rosé would be like on, if we added rosé here, it would be the last in the list. So back to our to adding the years. So if year equals, so when we have our two lists of years, if the years equal to if the year in the first list, so for the first name is equal to the year for the second name, then new dictionary, um, so we need to add these values to this line. So we would do another for loop and say, so for key in new dictionary, this is our final dictionary that we've already started. So for each key in the new dictionary, this is if the years match. Then so new dictionary key, or so I would start off at 0. So I wonder if there's a way, so if I starts at 0, how do we reference that dictionary? Because we need to add values to keys. So like if they match, if year is equal to list D1I year, then something. So we'll do new, new, and this is informal here. This is some pseudocode, but so new dictionary key, new dictionary key is equal to and this is a new dictionary I because it's in the same order. Because we are iterating for I in list, which is like the matching. So if there's not a matching, it won't be in the list. So like Chardonnay. So okay, so Pinot Noir, for example, doesn't match. So our first value in our final dictionary is Chardonnay, but our second value in our final dictionary is Pinot Noir. So we need to somehow find the name. Oh goodness, this is a messy code. For one ID line dot number. Well, it's a little embarrassing. It's taking so long. String in D2, string, uppercase. Yeah, so to reference the exact string, we would need to be in one of these dictionaries. So we would say for wine in D1, and then we would go through this loop. So, boom, boom, boom. So for each wine in our dictionary, so Chardonnay. Now that we've selected Chardonnay, for I in list D1, which is here, for year in I.keys, so for year in I.keys, if year is equal to list D2 I year, then this would say new dictionary, wine, key, which would be year, is equal to list D1 I year plus list D2 I year. Now let's see if that works for everything else. So that's the first one. So it says Chardonnay. And this, so since these match, add these values to Chardonnay in the final dictionary for 2017. Now let's write something if they don't match. So if year does not equal, or yeah, so if year does not equal list D2 I year, so for each dictionary, if the year matches the year in the second dictionary, it'll add these and add the values and stick them to the wine name in our final dictionary. If year for dictionary, so for we're still in this dictionary, so if year does not equal list D2, so the same dictionary in the same year, so for year in I.keys, so I'm going to do for D1 keys in list D1, or for DK for dictionary key, or it's actually for dictionary. So for dictionary in list D1, for year in dictionary.keys, if year is equal to dictionary, and D is that value. So if I were to print D, it would be 2017. So if year is equal to 2017, so list D2 2017, which doesn't mean it'll be the first year. It just means that it's going to look for 2017. So if it's equal to list D2 2017, actually no, that's just D, so it'll automatically, so that's the index value. So D is an index value for D in list D1, so that's 0. So if year is equal to list D2 0, year so 2017 in this case, so it's saying if year, so if 2017 is equal to list D2 2017, so this would actually return the value, not the year. So if the year is equal to list D2, so this is actually incorrect. This needs to be a reference for, this references the value. I need to reference the key. So, I wonder if I can just, you know what, I think it's time to move on here. I think I've used up enough time. Yeah, already 45 minutes on this one. So we're gonna go ahead and merge these. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of these. This I need. So reference D2 key for comparison. Yeah, so this code is pretty much at the same stage as my first code, so it is not complete. I have the structure, but the actual code isn't testable quite yet, which is definitely a problem. Yeah, it's definitely a problem. There's a requirement for the code being able to at least run through the tester without crashing, which this is not, according to the input values, going going to do. As you can see, this is still broken up into, this is a pseudocode here, this is a structured here, but still some pseudo mixed in there. So let's move on to popular genre. Oh, my ears are burning. Popular genre. Excuse me. So for this one, it's going to take a dictionary that represents a movie database. The structure you see below. Turn this on movies. Genre which is most popular in the database. If two or more genres are equally popular, include all the respective movies in the result. We cannot use lists, so no lists in this one. No lists. No lists. List. Popular genre. Inception, The Departed. So here is our list of movies. It's a single dictionary with an inner dictionary. Yeah. So we need to see out of our movies what is genre which is the most popular in the database. So our return value is a set of movies, the genre of which is the most popular. Okay, so we take the most popular, so out of our movies here, our most popular genre. So for this, we have action, adventure, sci-fi, crime, drama, thriller, drama, crime, mystery, adventure, sci-fi, drama. Okay, so let's get started. For we are looking at the value. So for the value in d dot values, if for value in d dot values, if value uh, so I guess we'll just append each of these to like a list. So this is saying, oh, this is one value. So it'd be like value. So for, I'm just going to say for year again. So for year in dictionary values, for um, for genre in year dot values. So for year d values, these are our values. So it's actually not year, it's going to be like specs. So for specs in our values, our values are the specs, movie specs. And then we're going to say for genre in spec values, specs values, for genre and spec values. I'm going to make a set, like our first function here. So set set empty set. So for genre and specs, I'm going to add to our set here, which, if I'm remembering correctly, for L in dictionary set new. So in this first one, I'm not sure how we added to our set here. I do remember being able to do that, but I guess not well enough, which is extremely annoying. It takes a dictionary that represents a movie database. So, I'm gonna go ahead and see if anyone's in office hours right now. Excuse me. Here we go, office hours. Friday. No one is in office hours. No one is there on Saturday either, so I'm alone for this project. So if anybody on here knows how to program or like use Python, let me know. Cause yeah, this is where I'm at. I can definitely structure a function for sure. I can conceptualize what needs to be done for sure. Um, but yeah, like things like this where my instructor actually showed me, and then I used the interpreter, which works half the time for some functions, as we saw yesterday. Um, that worked for a set. Let's try. See, so much playing around is not good. Um, oh my goodness. pull up our interpreter and say set is equal to set. So set oh goodness. For specs in values for genre and specs. So set is, can we add to a set? So set dot add 1 set. I'm not sure how to add values to a set. So let me look that up real quick. Unless anyone else knows how to add values to a set. If you do, let me know. Who can add values to a set? Anybody. There's nobody in office hours. Ever. I was there last time, and literally there was 3 people in the waiting room, and once the teacher got to my name, he was like, oh, email me if you have questions. But then he just left. So I'll probably just end up sending a picture of my very broken code to somebody at some point tonight. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, it's a little unreasonable that we can't add to a set. Oh. Right. Pull up my mobile command station here. Let's see what we can figure out. We've not gone anything about sets in class, but for some reason we have to use them in our code. And then easy things, other things we can't use. Oh boy. The reasoning behind these restrictions are not clear, but I'm going to go ahead and record set in my notebook here to remember. So it'll be add. So set dot add one new list 1, 2, 3, and then another list 0, 2, 3. So add takes one argument. All right, we'll do set dot add. Let's try still a list. Let's do 2, 2, 4, 3. So you can add lists to a set. So set in my notebook. Use add. And let's do a tuple. Let's just 1, 2, 2, 3, 0. Okay, we'll make it an individual set dot add tuple 1, 1, 2, 4, 0, 3. Set 1, 1, 2, 4, 0, 3. So the add for set notation is only accepting tuples. And it doesn't sort this. My professor in this function, when we added our dictionary values, the values were already sorted, so I'm not sure why that is giving me an error. Or I guess not an error, but it's not sorted. I mean, I'm not even allowed to use the sort function. So back to our assignment, I guess. Oh, thank you, nobody. Yeah. So we can't sort. So for specs and d values. So d values for genre in so this is specs and d values. So for genre and specs values. So this is specs for genre and specs values. So that's looking at specs dot values. So for genre and specs values. Now this is going through each of these. So for this one, for this one, for this one, For specs and D values, so for each of these, for genre and specs values, so for each genre, can't use lists. I guess we'll just use a dictionary. But our return value is a set of movies. Okay, so we'll just make it a set. So set dot add um, add a genre. So it's going to add action. So for each genre and each of these, it's going to add the genre. So we just have a list of all of these now in set. So now we just have to like see which one is most common. So how do we see which one is most common? Drama, crime, mystery, adventure, sci-fi. So in this one we have action, adventure, sci-fi, crime, drama, thriller. Drama, so 2, crime is 2, mystery, adventure is 2, sci-fi, that makes 2, and then drama is 3. So drama is our most common, and that is why our return value is The Departed, 7, and Interstellar. So The Departed, 7, and Interstellar. The Departed, 7, and Interstellar. That would be like our answer in our final dictionary. So how do we like? I mean, I guess I could associate each genre with a value and like, but see, there's an unlimited amount of genres, so I can't associate an unlimited amount of genres with a value. So that's why it's really useful to use a set that would sort these things. So like, here's our set. Let's try if I add one. Let's see what happens. Set dot add one. It would be nice if it just only like displays a single one, as it should. Or I guess this is like a single value in our set. So let's try like a new set. Let's try new set equals empty set equals set empty. So we'll do new set dot add. Let's do a genre. Add horror. New set is not defined, but I just defined it. Oh, new set dot add genre horror. new set. Okay, so let's see what we have. It's just horror. So let's try adding another one. New set dot add horror. New set. Okay, so if I add, if I try to add the same thing, it's not going to work. So that's how I can assign a value to like each of these genres. So so set.add genre. So we have a set of all the genres that we have. So now let's do another for loop and say, so for specs in the value, for genre in specs values, if genre in I think that's right, the genre in set so if we're in new set print yeah. Okay, so if genre in set um, and so we have a count dictionary is an empty dictionary. So genre is equal to set and count dictionary genre plus one. So let's try that. Let's try count dictionary here. Count dictionary is empty dictionary. So count. So if you want to update this with value using our plus or equal operator, is kind of like what I want to see. Like, can you add to something that doesn't exist? So count dictionary or because it'll insert the genre equals 1. So this says key error, horror is not a key. But that's how you add to a dictionary, right? Yeah. Yep, if you want to add to a dictionary, you would add the key to the dictionary. Count dictionary horror. Why is it not adding? Let's try not using that operation. So count dictionary equals count dictionary order, which says it doesn't exist, which is why we're making it exist right here, equals 0. Count dictionary. So it works here. See? But it doesn't work when we use +1 to add to nothing. So that answers my question. So we need to set it equal to 0. So before we add 1, so for specs in values, so we have our set of genres. So now for I, do for G in set count dictionary genre equals 0. So this makes our dictionary with our genres 0. Okay. Now for specs and values, for genre and specs values. So for every genre that we have listed, if the genre is in the set, which it will be, because that's how we created the set, then count dictionary genre +1. So let's try updating our value now that our value exists. So count dictionary order plus equals count dictionary. Okay, so we can update our values. So every time a genre occurs, so for each genre in here, it's going to go to that. So action occurs, it's going to go to action area in our dictionary and add 1. So it kind of counts. So now we want to see which has the most. So for count in count dictionary, count dictionary dot values, going to make a list. So count list. Oh, we can't use list. Okay, so for count in count dictionary dot values. So you can normally do like use min and max. So like, let's add. So let's add action. And we'll set it equal to 2. So if you do max count dictionary dot values, see if that gives us what we want. So 2. Max count dictionary dot values for count and count. So we can just do max. So now let's say that there's 2. Let's say like dictionary spooky equals 2 as well. And so when we do max, still 2. So we need to account for that. So do max for values. So like, we don't really need a variable for that. We can just leave it and it'll calculate the max. So for count in count dictionary dot values, if count is equal to the max, so equals our max value, then I'm gonna make a final dictionary. So final dictionary. Final dictionary dot append. Not append. So final dictionary. Sorry, so we need to add the key. So if count is equal to max, we'll do a new set instead of a new dictionary. We'll do new set. So if count is equal to max, then new set dot add count Again, we can't use items, keys. Like, it would just make this extremely easy. So, it's, uh, it's it's way too frustrating that they make this purposefully difficult, and then are not available for questions. Um, that's extremely annoying. Very extremely annoying. Uh, it is already 8:27. I've already been on here for an hour and a half. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this live stream off for you guys, and then start a new one, so you aren't forced to uh, sit through it. Yeah, actually, no, I'm not gonna cut it. I'll keep this all in a single video. Feel free to skip around this video as much as you like. This is one assignment and should only be in one video. We're at video number 3 right now, so yeah, feel free to also like write a petition for I don't know, some sort of like child labor laws that like need to be passed regarding these assignments, because I have other classes, like I have homework and I have a midterm like next week that needs to get done. So yeah, if anyone knows like what the doozy is going on here, um, like send me a DM or something. Like add my Snapchat or like my Instagram and see. Yep. So fucking disgusting. So in our count dictionary of values, for each count, if count is equal to max, then I guess we'll do it like this. We'll use a for loop since we can't use basic comprehension. For genre in count dictionary, if genre or if count dictionary genre equals max, then this is final set, I guess. Final set. Final set dot add genre. So for each genre in our count dictionary, if value is the max value, genre, and so our return value will be a set. So again, like this is extremely unclear. Like here, the dictionary is returned, whereas our instructions say that a set needs to be returned. So, like, I'm just gonna do a dictionary notation. Oh, I can't really do that, so like, that's just extremely annoying. I mean, a set returns as. Oh, okay, a set does return as a dictionary, like a squiggly bracket line, so that's my mistake. This is set notation. I was looking for these like this parentheses here, like this is a tuple, and this is a set within this tuple. So this is actually not a dictionary. So I'm actually going to go back and change the beginning of this to account for that. But the ending of this is already done, I guess. Return. What, dictionary? Final set. That's our return value. So now let's go back and account for this. For specs and d values. So for specs and d values is like this. Or it's still this, so this is still specs. But then for genre and specs values is different. So for genre and specs values, it would actually be for genre and specs 1, because this is a tuple, not a dictionary. So for genre and specs 1, set dot add genre. So that was an easy fix to account for this whole thing not being a dictionary. For genre and set count dictionary. Okay, so this is actually ready for test. So since I still need to review my entire code with like somebody at some point, I'm just going to put this comment in here. These are, again, structured, conceptually, physically, but there are some definite road bumps that need to be addressed. before they're ready to be tested. Go ahead and make this clear. It's the only one that's ready. 1 out of 5. Still not runnable, so even though this entire thing is correct, this is almost completely straight. It just needs like a little maybe like 2 or I guess the end needs just like a few more lines of code, maybe 10 lines of code in this to clean this up, and then maybe like 3 lines of code to clean this up. But this whole thing will get a 0 because it doesn't run, which is not really practical, I guess. Or I guess that is practical considering that there's more than one language, coding language in the world. We're not all just dealing with Python, but I mean conceptually, still in the real world, with comments, it's understandable. I use the word this is readable, from a coding standpoint and an English standpoint. So it definitely deserves a good grade. Switch that. My battery. Gonna give it a break. I'll be back. Charge this. Finish this function up tonight. I have math homework too, so again, my coding professor is just extremely inconsiderate regarding people's time, and that's just gross. So I hope this helps somebody, because definitely wasting a lot of my time not sharing with you guys the actual assignment itself, and no one being available to help me when I'm online 24/7 and on campus for 7/24. It's just I don't understand. Like why this is a problem. Oh well.